Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today, we will analyze the first summit meeting of Quad leaders held yesterday. Finally, the top leaders of the US, India, Japan, and Australia met under the framework of the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue or Quad. As was expected, leaders of all the four countries, that is, US President Joe Biden, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Japanese PM Yoshihide Suga, and Australian PM Scott Morrison, flagged the issue of free and open Indo Pacific, which is a reference to Chinese belligerence in the region. In the agenda today, we will analyze this summit meeting and try to understand its importance. We are joined by retired Major General Rajan Kochar and Dr. Swasti Rao, a Professor of International Relations at AMU. But before we begin our conversation, have a look at this report.
First summit-level meeting under the Quad format, India, US, Japan and Australia have given a veiled signal to China, whose belligerence has been growing in recent times. US President Joe Biden, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Japanese PM Yoshihide Suga and Australian PM Scott Morrison during their meeting last night pledged to promote a free, open, rule-based order rooted in international law to advance security and prosperity and counter threats to both in the Indo-Pacific and beyond. They expressed commitment to a shared vision for the free and open Indo-Pacific and a region that is inclusive, healthy, anchored by democratic values and unconstrained by coercion. This is a veiled reference to China's aggressive and belligerent activities in the Indo-Pacific region and beyond, which is hampering free navigation. PM Modi, while speaking at the virtual summit against the backdrop of Chinese military aggression on the Ladakh border, said the Quad nations will work together closer than ever before for advancing shared values and promoting a secure, stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific. Biden said all the four nations are concerned about a free and open Indo-Pacific, which is essential to the future of each country. Four leaders also decided to work together in the area of COVID vaccination to ensure that maximum populace around the world benefits. Clearly, the four-nation grouping, which came into existence in 2007, seems to have come of age and is ready to take off. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Major General Rajan Kochar and Dr. Swasti Rao of the AMU. Welcome to the program, both of you. So I'll begin with General Kochar about the first summit of the Quad, which is now apparently taking off. This organization, which has been there for over 14 years, now finally taking off. How do you see this meeting?
Ajay, I think it is a historic moment, not only for our own country, for the entire region of Southeast Asia and the Pacific. It is an idea whose time has come. And China is too strong a nation to get actually controlled by regional powers. And therefore, the making of the Quad is a step in the right direction. The summit yesterday focused on something which is for the global good. And I'm extremely happy to read that the summit focused on management of COVID-19 through the vaccine. All the four countries have cooperated with their financial as well as administrative support in helping India manufacture this vaccine and export it to the entire world. A strong message is being given to the Chinese here that, see, you started the virus and we will eradicate it through a joint effort. But the credibility of the Chinese has even gone further down. And that is the reason of a strong reaction from China, saying that cliques are being formed, relations have to be bilateral, treaties and alliances should not be formed, and to an extent that has been called as Asian NATO. That is my take on it.
Right, I'll come back to you. We have Dr. Rao with us. Dr. Rao, how do you see this first summit meeting, and what do you think is the future?
Okay, thank you. See, the first thing that I would like to say here is that this particular Quad summit would be the best thing that has happened to India in 2021. Let us again agree with what fellow panelists have said, that, please understand that India is navigating a multitude of challenges, in the 21st century. And it is a fairly complex world order, because we see that on the one hand, we have these huge border disputes with China, but then our economy is also dependent on them, and not just ours, but the entire world. So what we have to understand is that if we want to counter a country, an expansionist, aggressive country like China, we need to have a variety of, multilateral diplomatic, initiatives. And hence, Quad is having the importance that it is having. Also, if I'm allowed to say, let's understand that intrinsically, any multilateral, initiative like the Quad Summit is going to be successful when its timing is right. And the great thing about what is happening, what happened yesterday, was about the timing. Why do I say that it is such a brilliant example of, key timing? Because let us look at what is happening, right? So while we are seeing that, after Joe Biden coming, and, it is showing his commitment to furthering America's Indo-Pacific strategy that we saw in the Trump era. So, and in that Indo-Pacific strategy, India emerges as a key player. Okay? It also shows that Biden, after assuming office, this particular Quad summit was his first major multilateral summit. That itself shows how important it is. That's one. The other thing is, Antony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State, he's about to visit Japan and South Korea the next week. So obviously, and then from there he's going to fly to Alaska, where he's going to meet the Chinese. So obviously, just 1 week before, when we, the four countries of the quadrilateral, if they're coming together, to talk about how to maintain a free and open Indo-Pacific, about resilient supply chains, and about, ramping up the production of vaccines from a virus that originated in China, etc. This sends a very clear message that the world is very serious about China's expansionism, about China's, the way China hides its information, the way China looks at itself as a global hegemon, etc.
Right.
So this timing is key, in my opinion.
So, Dr. Rao, actually, I asked this question, what is the future? Because, see, considering the history, Quad came into being in 2007, but these member countries have been kind of in and out, lukewarm, and that is what I'm saying. So, is it now, does this summit tell us now it has concretized now?
Okay, so I think that is a very, very relevant question, because a lot of times it is asked that, all right, so this has happened, Quad happened in 2007, then for about a decade and a half.
For 10 years it was
just, yes, it was not doing anything. It was just in 2020, after, Scott Morrison became the, Prime Minister of Australia, that other things started happening, etc. So, what am I trying to say is that your question is extremely relevant, and if you ask me directly, obviously we have to look at, because see, there is always a risk, and I think it is a very, very potent risk of what China is going to do next. Let us be prepared that China is going to increase the stakes for the rest of the members, particularly Australia and Japan, from doing, and also India, for doing anything more constructive in Quad. And the way in which we can counter it is by trying to get more like-minded countries on board.
Right.
And that is where the idea of Quad Plus becomes very relevant.
Yes.
So, for example, Boris Johnson from United Kingdom has already said that he wants to join the Quad.
No, France, I think
and
France is
Poland.
interested, I
France.
think. So I have been, in fact, I have been saying why not join Vietnam, Philippines, they are also troubled by China. They
Oh,
should
yes,
also,
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
So basically, there are two key players. One from the European Union, so France, then Germany, and that is going to open a Pandora's box.
So
Because,
yeah,
China,
we'll talk
yes.
about expansion,
Yes.
but I'll go to Major General Kochar about the, as you mentioned about China. China is going to raise stakes. General Kochar, what do you say? What is expected from China?
See, the China, what Dr. Rao has mentioned here, that China is up the ante. China, whatever China to do, China has done it.
It is.
But
Now-
China can do more. I think
Yes.
they are capable of doing much more.
Can do certainly more, but if you have a force available to counter the hegemonistic designs of China, you will become a deterrent for China to undertake any major initiative now. You have to understand that so far in the South China Sea, there was no counter to China.
Right.
The Paracel Islands, the Spratly Islands have been captured by the Chinese over the years, converted into missile bases, and the freedom of navigation in the South China Sea is restricted for the other nations.
It is hampered, yeah.
Yes. Now you are having a potent force like God coming into being. Let me assure that it is going to be a deterrence to further moves by the Chinese to actually influence China Sea. That is one part. The second part, it is very important to understand for the Quad nations commit China to two-front scenario. We want China to be bothered in the South China Sea so that it does not become active in the Ladakh area. And that is why I see Quad coming up
So
as
General,
an extreme
yeah. So
force.
General Kochar, do you think Quad will become more of a military alliance, or maybe it will be an? It will have other issues also. Like we have vaccine diplomacy now. I mean, vaccine cooperation, climate change as has been brought in.
Uh,
What do you say?
See, these are the phase steps because when we talk about vaccination, climate change, it does not create many ripples, especially with the Chinese and with the other major countries like Russia and NATO alliances. Slowly, let me tell you, it is already a part of the internal agenda to get the military element into. And the areas which the Quad is being recommended to get into are intelligence sharing, logistics, basing, perception management, common communication in the protocols, enhanced training, periodic military conferences, and the most important one, defense industry cooperation. You will find that the Make in India process of India, we have already signed certain agreements with Japan and Australia to be joint partners in transfer of military technology and manufacture of military hardware. you may not label it as a Quad, but the actions have already started.
Right. So,
So I visualize this sort of an alliance because of the vaccination, because of the climate change. They will understand each other better now. They will form a base of better understanding and slowly graduate to a military strategic partnership.
okay, Dr. Rao, I'll come to you. As you heard Major General Kochar about military aspect being the major dominant feature in this. So, do you think, as some are suggesting, that it will be kind of a NATO, or not NATO, but some kind of that alliance?
Right. See, I think what Major General Kochar said, it has a very valid point, because one has to understand that if we want to counter a country like China, in such a complex world order, let us understand that we have to do it by providing them a kind of like we have to up the ante, right? Okay, for them as well, right? The way they do it for us. Okay, so if we have to beat China in its own game, the only thing I want to say is that the positive thing about the Quad and the way it's shaping up is that, by adding in other things like the resilient supply chains and vaccine and climate change, what we do is that we make its objective more comprehensive. So it starts to look not merely as a reactionary force to China, but also having its own independent objectives, which are as relevant in the world today. Okay, so that is one thing that I would like to say. As far as the threat thing is concerned, let me also tell you that, as we are discussing the cost summit here, in China 2 days ago, they have already unveiled their next 5-year plan. And there they have already talked about building dams in the lower reaches of Brahmaputra, which are very close to the Indian border in Arunachal Pradesh.
Yeah.
And they have also talked about, building the Tibet-Nepal railway network. And it is mentioned, they say, that in case of a war scenario, this particular railway network can function as a fast track. So obviously, let us understand that the China threat is not going anywhere. And just by the 4 countries coming together in Quad and having a summit does not necessarily solve the problem. But it definitely tells us that we need to be more comprehensive in our approach to counter China.
And you were talking about expansion also.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So those things are not going anywhere. We need a more comprehensive strategy. And also, let us understand, okay, China is not going to sit quietly. I think the next thing which should be expected from China is that China is going to create more misunderstanding between India and Russia. Okay? So while Indian diplomacy has tried to go ahead with our defense deal, we have a major defense deal with Russia, at the cost of America's sanctions. We still have that fear. Though I hope that, we will get a waiver from America. But still, so while India is
you're talking about S-400.
Yes. And so, yes, okay. So, India has gone ahead with the deal despite the fact that America, under the CAPSA Act, they have an act, it's called Countering American Adversaries, through sanctions.
But Russia lately has been sulking and kind of plugging Pakistan line. So we'll come to
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all I'm trying to say is that, this particular challenge is right there. In front of India, India is doing a lot. See, if you look at recently what the Indian, foreign ministers have been doing, they've been doing something that India was not doing earlier, that they are trying to have a refurbished neighborhood. Okay, so they are now going and they are, going to Mauritius, they're going to, Sri Lanka, they're going to Afghanistan. Of course, India has a key position there, Maldives, Sri Lanka. All those things were, in a way, neglected, I would say, for many years, because of which we had a porous neighborhood. And, China came right at our backyard.
Right.
So our challenges are in no way, done with, but we need a more comprehensive strategy is what my point is.
As a deterrent, yeah. So, General Kochar, I'll come to you. Prime Minister Modi at the meeting said that this Quad is a force of global good. So, how will you analyze this?
See, his words are spoken of the actions which have happened in the summit. But the global good is for the benefit of humanity. And the first step which the Quad has benefit of humanity is the vaccination.
Right.
Right.
The proof of the pudding lies in its eating, they say. So the first action is started. Next, he talks about a climatic change, a climate change, the protocols which need exchanged between four nations and spread it all around.
See,
And
General,
that
General
takes-
Kochar, I have a point. When it comes to climate change or climate issue, China is a major factor which you cannot ignore. Okay, like India. So it is not part of the Quad. So how will you meet the
I know
challenge?
that.
Yeah.
But see, this war, you must understand, is lying dormant for so many years. And now there is a resolve. And this kind of resolve was not seen earlier. China is a very, very important force. To get China on the line is not going to be an easy job. And that is one of the mandate of war. Because no single nation can counter China today. The way China has grown over the years, you require a potent force, especially of this kind. Secondly, let me also tell you, the countries in the South China Sea are also being now prepared to counter China. We have already
They are
started
doing at
with-
individual level, yeah.
Yes, at individual level, our BrahMos missiles have already been exported to Vietnam, and other are
Philippines is
missiles.
also, I think, giving them a tough time.
Yeah, so now see, the aim is that how do we counter the influence of China? China is very sensitive to South China Sea.
But
Any amount-
General, as we are talking about China, but let me point out that the summit remained silent on China. Although there were veiled references to China, but it remained. I mean, nobody talked about China. Only open and free navigation and other, which all, of course,
Diplomacy
reference
is
to
all
China.
about this.
So that shyness is still
Diplomacy all about this.
there. So when we
See-
talk about taking on China, General Kochar,
They did not speak about China. They got a very adverse reaction from China.
despite that, yeah.
Huh. Despite that, you can make out.
But I'm talking about shyness in the Quad to name China.
You see, that won't happen in the initial stage because Quad is actually yet to firm up. It has to strengthen. The trust among the four countries has to be built up. So, why do you think this Quad, in spite of being in it's formed since 2007, has not built up? It is for these trust issues which are there among these countries.
Right. So we are running out of time. We have little time left, but Dr. Rao, I'll come to you about the shyness still in the Quad. I remember in the last foreign ministers meeting, I think during Trump time, US was the only country which named China, but now again they are not naming China. So that shyness
Okay,
is
so
still.
if
So if
you-
you are taking on China, then you have to name, isn't it?
Okay. So if you ask my opinion on it, I think that is a kind of a beauty of what has happened in Quad, and I personally think it is a very mature pragmatism, which is the need of the day. Okay, and everybody knows had it not been for China, you would not see such sharp reactions coming in there. You know, Global Times and the CCTN, if you follow the Chinese media, the way they are upset about, selective multilateralism. And by not naming, this is very mature, pragmatic diplomacy that without taking names, everybody knows who the elephant in the room is, and everybody is doing enough to tackle it. Okay, in my personal opinion, there is a marked difference in the way these policies are being furthered under Biden, Suga, Morrison, and Modi.
But
you know why? Because last
but Dr.
time,
Rao,
because-
but Dr. Rao,
Yes.
when we talk about China, China openly says that India is falling in the trap of US. So it names India, but we are not
You
naming
please
China.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, please understand that. See, China. If you remember that, like few days ago, there was this 2013 evolution of Chinese military thought. A document came into the mainstream and people started talking about the document. See, in that document, for China mentions it very clearly, okay? China sees India as an adversary and China wants to keep check Indian influence in the Indian Ocean region.
Right.
And China says that if you want to have a settlement with us, then you better not be friends with our adversaries, right? So basically, in other words, China wants to guide our national diplomacy, our national interests.
Yeah.
It's none of China's business whether we are falling in US's trap or we are falling in...
No, I'm talking about naming only.
It's a
That
different thing.
they are open about it. We are not. But yeah, sorry, you want to
But please
complete?
understand-
Yeah, maybe
but
10
please
seconds.
understand,
10, 20
as
seconds.
analysis, we always think that this is of, mature pragmatism, which is required. Look at Japan. Japan has not named China either. And Japan is an arch rival. Okay? So naming is not important. Like,
Okay.
General Kocher said, proof of
Yeah.
the pudding lies in its eating. So
Right.
we will see with time. It is a very slow and steady thing, and the slow and steady wins the race. Okay? So that's my hope about war.
Yeah, so we will see what is the taste of the pudding when we eat it. So, but
Yes,
the time of this
yes.
program is over today. Thank you both of you for participating in this debate today. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic on Monday. Till then, goodbye.